The Democrats have a new plan to get Joe Biden reelected, a brand new plan to get Joe Biden reelected president of the United States. The plan is to tuck him back in the basement, keep him out of sight from the public as much as possible. Yeah, that is the new plan. What is old is new again. Yes, it's true, and the reporting is coming from a variety of places that have access to the president and his floundering campaign, and it is floundering. This comes after the whole Let Joe Be Joe effort turned into a colossal failure as Biden continues to hemorrhage support from what should be loyal Democrat voters, but they're not. It seems that competence matters to people, believe it or not, and it comes into play when they can see Joe fall over his tongue time and time again, make strange comments. And the one that really sticks out lately is the one about his uncle getting eaten by cannibals in the South Pacific during World War II. This really has people's attention. Grandpa Joe and the tall tale of Uncle Boosie. Here's a reminder.
And my uncle, they called him Ambrose Boosie, they called him Boosie. My Uncle Boosie was a hell of an athlete, they tell me, when he was a kid. And he became an Army Air Corps before the Air Force came along. He flew those single-engine planes as reconnaissance over war zones. And he got shot down in New Guinea, and they never found the body because there were a lot of cannibals for real in that part of New Guinea.
Cannibals for real. Cannibals for real. Of course, there have been a variety of other strange. Of course, that never happened. His uncle was not eaten by cannibals. The plane was shot down over open water, and the majority of the people on the plane died. That's the bottom line on that. Of course, there have been a variety of other strange comments that are easily fact-checked and dismissed as nonsense, like Joe bragging about driving an 18-wheeler or coming in second place as a high school scoring leader in football, both of which were said last week and both of which are utterly false. An 18-wheeler story has been debunked several times in the past, but Grandpa, he just can't keep from telling fairy tales about himself. And I guess what worries me and a lot of other folks, he believes this stuff. He believes this stuff. That would indicate to me that the senility is far more advanced than I've thought previously. It's getting worse. I mean, you go look at Joe Biden campaigning in 2020 compared to today, night and day. It's also why they want to put Joe back in the basement and keep him there so nobody can hear what he has to say. Joe Biden is going to be hidden even more. Shorter speeches, less appearances. Here's the plan.
We have news this morning from NBC News that the campaign is looking to shorten its speeches. Biden's general election strategy is less is more. The president's aides are seeking to tighten his pitch to voters with shorter, crisper speeches. To be honest with you, Quentin, I think that's a very smart idea. I think
for everyone.
For everyone. I appreciate that approach because it is a way for the president to sort of hit with clarity, stick his points and move on and not get lost and sidetracked. Give us a little bit more of the scene setting around the thinking there and trying to reimagine the campaign going forward with what you just said and this idea now of the president tighten his grip on his speeches.
Look, our campaign believes in quality over quantity. We believe that these touches, these smaller things that are getting directly to the point about what is going on in the stakes of this election are going to be easier for voters to tap into and sort of also go out and say and talk to their friends and family about what's at stake.
So there it is. Just get to the point, a few words, and leave. The new master plan, keep Joe hidden for the duration of the campaign, keep him away from the press as much as possible, keep those appearances short. And for the love of God, keep him on script, whatever it takes. No more discussions of cannibals barbecuing family members in front of the people. And this is bad news for a candidate that is already the lowest rated since Gallup began polling presidential popularity. Joe's numbers, as you know, worst in 70 years. Takes us all the way back to Dwight Eisenhower, meaning Joe's behind Jimmy Carter, Richard Nixon, Barack Obama, and yes, Donald Trump, who, by the way, leads all four of those former presidents for approval numbers at this point in their respective presidencies. And you can direct your attention to the failure at Abbey-gate and the embarrassing disaster in Joe Biden's ill-advised exit from Afghanistan, August of 2021. That is the point where it all began to fall apart. Biden went underwater in the polls then. He has never recovered, and he won't. People remember Afghanistan. For some, the idea of voting for Joe Biden is just untenable. In fact, it is completely unthinkable. For example,
the only decision I have is there's nothing that can induce me to vote for Biden.
Okay. Tell me why.
I'm a Gold Star mother. That means my son was killed in Afghanistan. And I can never forgive, and nor can most of the Gold Stars that I know forgive August 26, 2021, when, because of Biden's debacle, the withdrawal was so badly done. There are 13 more members of the family in the club that none of us wanted to join. Mm-hmm. Then standing on the tarmac and checking his watch. And then, just to put the icing on the cake, repeatedly claiming that his son, Bo, died in Iraq. That is beyond despicable, unforgivable. There is nothing that can move that needle for me.
Yeah. And if the collapse of support began in Afghanistan, certainly didn't end there. From that moment, everything has gone against Biden, and all of it was avoidable. It's all self-inflicted, this damage. From the open border and the related crime wave to the surging inflation, the high price of everything, to the violence on American college campuses, Joe Biden has proven he's not up to the task. He's not able to lead. The Democrats are losing across the map, by the way. Listen to this.
And Biden seems to be struggling with key demographic groups that he would need to win, and win big, if he stands a chance of being reelected.
John, there is significant softness in the support for Joe Biden among core Democrats. In this poll, he's carrying black voters by 61 points. Well, that sounds like a lot, but he carried them by 84 points back in 2020. Latino voters, a very slight Biden edge in this poll, but it was a 21-point advantage in the exit polls back in 2020. And among younger voters, under 30, we're actually seeing Trump with a slight edge. That was a big win for Biden last time around. It's particularly stark to see that difference among voters of color. Black voters under age 50, far less likely in this poll to say they're supporting Joe Biden than older black voters.
Yeah. You see, when those long, loyal contingencies start to say, you know what, we're done here. We've been conned election after election. And then they look back with nostalgia at the former president in his time in office. Despite all of these bogus cases all over the country targeting Donald Trump, they don't care. They look at that and say, look, he's the guy. All right? Better than what we have. I'll take a break. More numbers and more brutal truth after this on the Steve Gruber Show.